Hey Capricorn, it's Romy here. Welcome to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. So if you have a Capricorn sun, rising or moon, this October 2020 reading may well resonate for you. So my readings are a blend of the astrological influences, working with my cards and connecting into my guides, and together we intuit messages, insights and guidance to help you navigate through the coming week. So I hope you enjoy the reading. If it resonates, please do drop me a like and a comment. I love to hear your feedback, and you can subscribe to the channel. You can also join me for the extended version of the reading, and the information is in the description box and the comment section beneath. Let's look and see what's coming up for you this month. I appreciate you being here. Okay Capricorn, so if during this month of October you can embody the idea that this is the right time for anything to happen, okay, that time is now, there is no coincidences, then I feel like you're going to be able to navigate this hotbed of ideas, of inspiration, of chaos, of magic, of alchemy, of possibility, of volatility. October as a month is almost like a mini review of the entirety of 2020. We open with a full moon on the 1st of the month, and we close with a blue moon, a full moon in Taurus on the 31st, the day of Halloween, Samhain. So these two full moons, like holding the magic, and imagine yourself contained within this sacred vortex of energy and the embodiment of this alchemist, this magician quality, really helping you to harness and work with so much of the spiritual understanding and growth that you have gained through this year. Now we know that you're coming out of the time where all of these planets have been doggedly kind of working with you, Capricorn, to change, to transform, to help you to shed and clear and purge and, you know, really become something more, to transcend. And on the 4th of the month, Pluto moves direct. So we then have Saturn, Jupiter and Pluto now forward motion, making their way toward the end of the year and the final kind of wrapping up of their time through your sign. So between these full moons, between this kind of forward motion with the energy, overall, I think you're going to feel charged up by this month of October, okay? But we also have Mercury retrograde in the sign of Scorpio on the 14th of the month. We're in the shadow of it right from the beginning of October. And so it is inviting you to kind of dive deep. But again, in the sign of Scorpio, that deeply alchemical, mystical, the veil is incredibly thin during the entirety of this month, particularly with these full moons. And so expect the unexpected. There will be no coincidences. There will be a lot of fated, surprising situations that are going to unfold. And what's being demonstrated to me as we open up your reading with the Alchemist, Capricorn, is that you have everything that you need. You have absolutely everything that you need. This is about an identification that you are already complete. You are no longer this kind of work in progress. That was an illusion. This is about, you know, the truth transcending that, and this clarity and understanding that what you've experienced was sharing with you the ways in which you are now ready to receive something completely, entirely different in your life, you know. Now there's a beautiful burst of creative energy around this, and even though we still have Mars retrograde, Capricorn, I'm feeling like the guide of this magician is going to be helping you to just focus and to perhaps experiment with some new ideas, some different approaches, and that could fall, you know, particularly with some of you in that area of career and what you're spending time on in your business or your passion. Libra energy is 10th house. You are the natural ruler of the 10th house, Capricorn. So you're looking to the long term and you kind of want to mix it up. I feel like October's delivered you to this point in time where you're like, okay, like I've had so much change. I've been kind of dragged through things, you know, relentlessly, punishingly, and now I'm just like, okay, bring it. But you're saying bring it from a place of assertiveness, from this kind of energy of gravitas, and knowing that this can and will be the right time for anything that is meant to happen on your path to unfold, okay? And it's with that kind of an outlook that I feel you're really going to be able to harness things and make them work in your favor very powerfully. So here we've got the Queen of Cups. She's a lover, not a fighter, you know. So even though there is some volatility this month, even though we have the second of those Mars squaring Pluto energies, on the 9th. Think back to August 13th to be reminded perhaps what it's going to be bringing up for you. I feel that the way you're just, you're choosing to approach it is from a much more passive energy. You want to come at this intuitively. There's actually a beautiful sense of healing that's coming in with that Queen of Cups. But what a powerful partnership that's coming into the forefront here as well. And yes, the Queen of Cups could denote a water sign that's important in terms of what's unfolding for you this month, or somebody who's demonstrating that very healing, very quiet energy, but they just seem to know the right things to say. They are kind of intuitively feeling what you're ready for, almost able to kind of think what you think. There's almost like a very telepathic kind of quality that I pick up with this person in your life. So yes, this could be in your romantic relationship, but it may well be someone who you are working with, a friendship or a new connection that's set to come in. I do see that they're offering something, okay, and we link the cups here in both the Alchemist and in the Queen here. So there's something that this person or this energy has that is needed in terms of what you're going to be focused or what you're going to be doing, concentrating on through this month of October, Capricorn. So look out for that. I think that the synergies here and the kind of alchemical process that can take place between the Magician and the Queen of Cups is something quite special and really in perfect time and harmony for this month of October, when we really are looking at a time where, working spiritually and being guided and seeing those signs and validations showing up for us is going to be incredibly strong and potent. So here we have the Hierophant, and perhaps, when we look at the much more mutable energies of the Alchemist and the Queen of Cups here, that Hierophant is coming in with a little bit more of the grounded earth energy that perhaps you feel more comfortable with. So perhaps there's something a little bit out of your comfort zone that you're being asked to do through this month of October. If that is the case, I feel again it's about releasing yourself from anything that feels too rigid, too restrictive, and just being ready to change something up so that you can actually understand the potential or the possibility of something, okay? Now, yes, the Hierophant can link into the sign of Taurus, and of course that full moon in Taurus culminating the month on the 31st activates your 5th house of creativity, of passion, of romance, connects into children. So, these are themes that you're also going to be working with around that point of completion. Now, 2 full moons in a month is rare, and particularly in this month of October, there is just something very mystical about it. And so be prepared that there may be some endings or closures or something gifted or rewarded that's really coming out of the blue, okay? Hierophant for me is also reminding you of all of that higher learning and wisdom that you've accumulated. All 3 of these energies coming in to guide you into the month of October are demonstrating an innate wisdom, an innate knowing, very spiritually connected. And that's what you need to remember in order to keep your balance. Remember, Libra season wants us to find that equilibrium. What is our new way of finding that sense of harmonization in our life, okay? Now, if you are looking for that shift, that change, perhaps it's going to involve needing to learn something new, needing to broaden your horizons. It's maybe being the right time to actually become the person that is ready to almost be the student again. I think there are some very wise, very kind of almost trusted advisors that are going to show up through this month for you, and if you allow them, they're going to be able to demonstrate to you and almost mirror back how far you've come, okay, but also give you some very powerful advice and insight that can help you, okay? Because rest assured there are times through this month of October where everything's going to feel a little bit uncertain, a bit confusing, a bit hazy. Those full moons can be very deceptive. We think one thing is unfolding, and very quickly it becomes apparent that there's a completely different agenda, or something that we weren't aware of suddenly comes to light. Now, the card of strength is coming through because I feel like there are going to be times where you're going to have to draw back on something that you've learned, something that you've gained, but it's that resiliency that's going to help keep you moving forward, okay? Now, yes, there may be a Leo that's also into the equation here that you're dealing with, and if that is the case, and there's a little bit of a sense of October having this shape-shifting kind of a vibration, you might find it difficult to connect or communicate, or hit some issues or challenges in and around that type of a dynamic, simply because that Mercury retrograde, especially in the sign of Scorpio, which makes its firm focus around emotions, but also the rebirth and the transformative quality of needing to change the way we communicate. Remember, Mercury about the way that we think, the way that we communicate, the way that we express, messenger of the gods. You know, it wants to invite you to go deep, to really rewire something. This is a breaking of a patterning that has perhaps been very dominant for you in previous situations before. And really what you're doing is you are releasing that self-sabotaging tendency, or absolving yourself of any guilt or any lower vibrational energies that just simply does not feel good. Now, Seven of Swords, yes, it's not the easiest of energies to work with, but this is kind of what I was saying when, you know, I opened up this reading to say October is a bit of a hotbed. You know, there's an awful lot of wonderful, extraordinary opportunities that are going to come out of this time. But there is this sense of kind of cracking open, and full moon energies reveal. They will bring things to light that need to be understood. So if there is things that you are not aware of, that have been purposefully held back from you, or that you need to understand about yourself and that perhaps you haven't fully acknowledged, or there's still been a little bit of avoidance. I think, to be fair, most of the Capricorns tuning into this have been doing so much of this soul work relentlessly with Saturn in your sign. It would surprise me that there would be much more to learn about yourself. However, at this point, if there is something that you have kind of, I don't know, I guess still got that, right, I'll get to you later, it almost feels like there'll be that message from the universe that says, no, you will almost be held in with the light of these two full moons, and we will show you. We will show you exactly what is going on. And that isn't anything to feel fearful about, because actually what I think is it's going to bring out this sense of strength from you, you know, this deep sense of strength and power and courage, you know. And I don't see you kind of being hostile with it either, because when I look at that Queen of Cups, you know, she's just showing me, she's soothing the waters here. You know, she wants to bring in that kind of quality of calm for you. And she wants to remind you of where your focus should be. You have so much rich possibility here that why would you let that go? Why would you be distracted by anything that isn't helping to move you forward in the direction that you want? So if there is someone who comes back from the past, yes, happens in Mercury retrograde, doesn't it? If there are feelings that you're having because of the way that you may be being triggered, particularly with that Mars square Pluto, that's kind of almost taking you back into an old pattern, and you're really finding that you're fighting with yourself, or kind of feeling like you're losing the balance or losing the control that you've really worked hard to kind of anchor into place. The suggestion from this Knight of Coins stepping forth is that you will find your feet again. You will find your feet. And it's not about beating yourself up. It's not about coming to a place of judgment. It's about moving back into that deeply earthly, practical energy, figuring out what medicine it is that you need to just kind of slowly soothe your soul back into a place of balance again, and to keep moving forward. You know, there is something about October, and sometimes that Mars retrograde, when you talked about that last month, it can really kind of take the wind out of your sails a little bit in terms of motivation. And it may well be that you just sort of move into that sense of overwhelm a little bit. You may even feel guilty because you've taken on too much and you feel like you're not going to be able to deliver. If any of these things are triggering you and, you know, sort of almost indicating like they're about to kind of pull you backwards, what you need to be doing is just that slow, steady, consistent, one foot in front of the other. Don't try and make too big a jump. Don't feel so overwhelmed with it, and find ways to dissipate that energy. Remember, you're coming forth as the alchemist this month, Capricorn. So I don't have any concerns that you're not going to be able to figure out a strategy or a way through this. You know, you absolutely do. Look at all the beautiful yellow that's coming forth in this image with the Knight of Coins, for me it's suggesting that radiant sunshine energy linking into your solar plexus, helping you to regain your center, regain your absolute directive. What matters to me? What's important? Back to that quote we said, if the right time for anything to happen is now, then how does that change what I'm going to do in this exact moment? How does it change that? Okay, so here we have the energy of the star. It does link into the sign of Aquarius, and of course as all of these planets move out of Saturn, we're going to be going into that Aquarian age, and you're going to be working with this through your second house to really start to demonstrate your value, everything that you've learned, and how you then take that forward, and how it impacts you in terms of the way that you're receiving love, receiving material abundance. And the star is reminding you that there is so much to be hopeful about. There is so much to feel optimistic about. And again, coming in with a very healing energy. So if you are having to let go, because, there is quite an unyielding, demanding feeling through this month of October with these 2 full moons that are bringing everything to a head. If part of that means that you have to let go, and there's closure, then you are not only being given the strength in which to be able to cope with that, but also this beautiful sense of a reminder about how much more there still is out there for you. Okay, and I really love that star energy is going to come in to almost soothe the parts of you that are perhaps feeling that ouch or that ache, allowing you to kind of just tap into the power and keep focused. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost just like you're kind of letting just spirit work on your behalf to kind of smooth out any kinks, to kind of make those mountains feel a little bit more manageable. And that's the kind of vibe that I get. So even though we have that 7 of Swords that wants to cause problems, and maybe, in some ways I kind of feel the 7 of Swords could be representative of a specific person. It could well be an energy that you have to deal with, but this month I'm kind of feeling it could just be someone that comes along that is trying to disrupt your plans in some way, or trying to get your attention, or trying to act in a way that is less than desirable. And, what we see is you are completely turned away from it. So they're not really going to have the power and influence that they hope to. Okay, they're just not. You have too many other things that are important and on your mind and in your heart right now. Okay, so 2 of Cups coming in. It really is about what you want to devote yourself to. It's about where you feel good, whose energy you feel good being around, the things that are important to you, the priorities that you are now making in your life, and how that's changed. And again, we see her looking forward focused, just like the star. There's almost like a flow of energy coming from the 2 of Cups into that star. So there's something really celestial about the way you're being guided in terms of this divine love. And it's about that full embodiment of the love. Now, yes, she's very wrapped up in the energy of someone or something else, and so it may be that if there is closure, if there is ending, that it's not so straightforward to disentangle yourself from any kind of situation, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to be possible, and that on the other side of that there's not still some incredibly beautiful things to be able to receive and to be excited about. Okay, but for many of you in terms of relationships, this could also be the calm kind of after the storm. It may well be that you've already been through a tremendous amount of struggle, and that through this month, the backdrop is still kind of intense. Mercury retrograde doesn't make it easy. There is almost that sense of uncertainty. There is that kind of miscommunication. But if you know what matters to you, if you know where you're heading, and I do feel this for you, Capricorn, I do feel that many of you just have such a clear, focused direction now, that things are starting to knit together in a way that you're just ready for. You're ready for. So, even with that kind of deep water energy that wants to try to knock you off guard, I kind of feel like you're still managing to find the right frequency to be able to be true to yourself, okay? the Queen of Wands coming in with some fiery energy here, okay? Yes, Aries, Leo, possibly Sagittarius. I think not only is it remarking upon the way in which you can kind of harness the power and work with the power. And remember that full moon in Aries activates your fourth house of of home, of family, places that you work, but also that internal emotional landscape. So there's something that's kind of coursing through your veins. Maybe you feel really charged up and excited. Maybe you feel very passionate. Maybe you feel like there's really something that you need to get off your mind and say. But again, I'm going to go back to what I said at the beginning, because initially I feel like you kind of want to be a lover, not a fighter this month. So if someone is coming at you a little bit more provocatively, or you have that trigger, I don't see you really acting upon it. I don't see that happening. Now, for some of you, it may be that there is a fire sign that is, involved in this kind of a situation at the moment, okay? They are very focused and forward facing, so there is this sense of you being able to deal with something. But just remember what I said, 2 full moon energies, Mars squaring Pluto, Mercury retrograde, then moving, the sun into Scorpio on the 22nd. There is this like watery, kind of emotional, hazy, slightly unclear vibe, okay? But what you can take from this is that the innate wisdom, the veil being so thin, and the guidance that you're getting from your own team and spirit is going to help you to keep on track, okay? It is going to help you to keep on track. What I also do love about the Alchemist and the Queen of Wands here is they're both really powerful manifestors. Really powerful manifestors. And again, with that focus on these 2 full moons, Taurus, a wonderful full moon for bringing in creative energy, abundance, looking at your financial security. Aries giving you that fire to get things completed, or instigating a new way of approaching something. We're in that deep review time with these 2 retrogrades, Mars and Mercury, front and center. And then with Pluto moving direct, just kind of giving you that sense of, right, I've really let go of something that was sabotaging me or holding me back. Now I'm ready to harness this energy and do something with it that's really meaningful for me. And remember, when we move into Scorpio season, it is your 11th house of hopes and dreams. Okay, so what do you want to devote to? How are you going to enact it? What are the action, plans that you're putting in place to make that happen? And how are you being guided? What's that beautiful vision that you have, The way that you work with technology, the way that you are connecting with new groups, new friendships, new social connections, all coming up for review as we move into Scorpio season to really help you, yeah? So let's take a look and see how these oracle cards are reflecting. New beginnings. Well, for all the signs, it can be true of this year, but particularly for you, Capricorn, based on what you've been through and this kind of complete purging time that you've had. I love that we've got this kind of cascading waterfall, this stream, just the flow of emotions, but for me, just showing the release. It's like you've already scaled the mountains. You're kind of coming through this beautiful portal, this new doorway. And the birds just signifying this sense of freedom and liberation that you're soon about to have as we come to the end of the year and you clear out these, these energies. So again, I look at this and there's something innately peaceful about it. We can see the butterflies coming up the side of the image here, and it's kind of drawing me back to that beautiful Queen of Cups energy where you're just wanting to flow. You want to move peacefully. You want to tread gently and carefully, even through a month that's going to be incredibly intense. So it is your choice, how do you want to show up with these energies? But I think that the new beginning is ready and waiting for you and just wanting you to seize it, wants you to work with the energy, not against it. So identify perhaps where there might still be some resistance that's being mirrored back to you so that you can make sure that you are ready to receive so much of the good stuff that wants to come in. A fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. Okay, well, we have the full moon in Aries happening on the 1st of October. So, whatever comes to a head, whatever comes to a point of change, look at it like that. It's going to be different for each and every one of you in terms of how this shows up. It could be a conversation, it could be information, it could be a decision that's made, it could be a major shift or change that's happening. In the 4th house, it could be something connected into the home or to family. But that full moon in Aries gives you warrior energy, gives you warrior energy, but it's like the peaceful warrior. That's what I want to say to you this month, okay? It's not about going out and disrupting or kind of being at the centre of any chaos or drama. That's not where I see you being this month. You know, even though we have that kind of conflict or contradiction energy coming up for you, I just think it's almost coming up as a stark reminder to say this is not where you want to be. This is not where you want to be. This is what we're working to move away from. So these are Halloween Oracle cards, which I thought would be fun for this month as we get to celebrate the beautiful festivals, however you celebrate that, whether it's Samhain, Day of the Dead, Halloween. It's just a time for community and to come together and to really harvest and connect into spirit and that beautiful thinning of the veil. So we have the card of winter, the sacredness of pausing. Obviously, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, as we move through October, we're coming deep into the autumn time and preparing ourselves. You know, our body wants to move into a new cycle. We have to let that process happen. You know, these full moons are asking you to surrender and release something. You have to let it go. What do you need to let go of? You know, there's a time for pausing, for stillness. And again, I think this really echoes like the energy that I pick up overall for you this month, that there is a quietness, you know, in spite of everything kind of going on around you. And in that quietness, there's the opportunity for you to find some incredible power and direct and yield that in a way that's going to be really meaningful for you, okay? Now, if you do feel lost, if you are in a situation where something has come to light or comes to light and it surprises you, it kind of takes the wind out your sails or pulls that rug from under you, and you feel like the landscape is looking barren and unsure, then again, let's just link back to this beautiful new beginnings card, because this is what's on its way to you. So even if you're not feeling into that energy just quite yet, Capricorn, this is where we're heading. Knight of Coins, you're absolutely clear about, you know, where you need to go to invite this in. So maybe it's new relationships, new job opportunities, new ways of you know, dealing with what's happening in and around the world, how you deal with yourself. You know, Knight of Coins is that slow, steady commitment towards making something real and tangible and sustainable in your life stick, you know, and it will happen. It will happen. It's the reliability. If the Seven of Swords is the mirror of everything that is unreliable, then the Knight of Coins is the absolute antithesis of that. You know, this is something that you can count on, and for me, this is you counting on yourself. All right. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight into this month of October. This is a general reading, Capricorn. Please do drop me any feedback and let me know how this plays out. Make sure you tune back in throughout the month, because some of these insights and messages may make more sense then. If you'd like to join me for the extended version of this reading, we talk for another 20 minutes or so. We're going to go into a bit more detail. So what I would invite you to do right now is to just put your focus on a specific question that may not have come up in this main reading, and we will pull a couple of cards for you, and we'll cover that off in the extended. You can find the link for the extended reading in the description box in the comment section underneath the video. And it really is a way to support my channel, and I'm deeply grateful for those of you who choose to join me there. So let's just clarify this main reading now, beginning with the Alchemist or the Magician energy. We have Six of Pentacles coming in. Oh, we have another Magician energy and Knight of Wands. You know, Sagittarius actually also had these two Magicians coming through. Interesting. And of course, you know, Sagittarius is your 12th house, so you are working with that release energy as well. Okay, Knight of Swords coming in with the Queen of Cups. That's kind of an interesting contrast there, actually. We'll see what we can explore with that a little bit more. Okay, Seven of Wands. It is the courage, you know, it's the courage that you're bringing. Okay, King of Pentacles coming in, I feel is just your energy, just that nice sense of groundedness that's going to be afforded to you. Perhaps for some of you, it's just finding that whole new level of independence or self-sufficiency. Okay, strength in the Tower coming through. Doesn't surprise me the Tower is showing up for October's readings. You know, it is a very intense time and there is going to be disruption and change. But again, I just see you kind of being able to hold your balance through it. Okay. Emperor, perhaps it's a Aries sign, although the Emperor is also cardinal energy, which again could be yourself. We have Justice here, Libra energy. Maybe there are some legal things going on there as well, with that Emperor perhaps representing some kind of formal institution that you're dealing with. Okay, we've got the card of the Lovers here, echoing that Two of Cups, I feel. So, alright, the Devil, it is linked to your sign, Capricorn. Maybe this is where there's temptation coming through though for something. And the World showing up here. Again, that link to Saturn, and you know, we can't underestimate, you know, the final weeks of you moving to the end of this incredibly long, and I'm sure for some of you arduous chapter of working with Saturn's energy in your sign, but what a transformation it will have delivered for you. Seven of Pentacles, just really focusing on that long-term outlook, you know, so much of where you've invested your time and energy, maybe getting a little bit of a lift from the universe as well, with a little bit of luck and unexpected events coming in. Yeah, I think that's how many of you probably feel. 10 of Wands, almost there this year, huh? Okay, 8 of Wands, news traveling quickly towards you in that full moon at the beginning of the month. So whatever's happening is happening fast. You know, Aries is that fire starter, instigator. Okay, Winter and the King of Swords. Okay, we'll leave it there, Capricorn. If you would like to join me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this conversation with you. Otherwise, I wish you a beautiful, magical month of October. Please be moved by the magic and work to harness everything. Understand that this is the right time for anything to happen for you. Take good care. Bye for now.